problem that we did not do was finding the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts. Let's start with the x-intercepts. How do I find x-intercepts?
Set the function equal to 0.
Make the function equal to 0. So I have 0 equals negative 3x squared plus 27x minus 24. Now what?
Now you just start solving it.
How? What do I do?
Greatest common factor. Right?
What do I do with it?
You can factor out a 3.
Okay, just a positive 3?
Yeah. Oh, negative 3.
Negative 3 would make my life easier. So
Yeah.
if I do I want to factor it out, or do I want to divide both sides by it?
You can divide both sides by it.
Let's divide both sides by it because I am equal to 0, so that will kind of make it
0.
go away. When I divide 0 by negative 3, I get 0. When I divide negative 3x squared by negative 3, I get
1. X squared.
x squared. When I divide positive 27x by negative 3, I get
Negative 9.
negative 9x. And when I divide negative 24 by negative 3, I get positive 8. Now that looks a little easier to deal with. Hopefully you're looking at this and saying, I can factor that. Are any of you looking at it and saying, no, I can't? Feel free to say no. You know, if you're one of these people who looks at this and factoring just isn't your thing, you can always use a quadratic formula here. But if you can see that it factors, what does it factor into?
X minus 8, x plus 1.
X minus 8
X
and x minus 1, because remember these two need
Oh, yeah.
to multiply together to be positive 8.
Right. And
And
add
then when you
together.
add the inner and the outer, they have to come together to be negative 9x. When you factor, I would always recommend that you check your factoring by foiling it back out to make sure you get back where you started. The most common mistake I find on tests is people factor incorrectly, but don't check to make sure that they didn't mess up. Now, what do I do? Set each of these equal to 0. There's something called the zero product principle that says when you have two things multiplied together to be 0, one of them is 0, so in this case x minus 8 equals 0, or the other one is 0, x minus 1 equals 0. This only works when you multiply together to be 0. It does not work if this is not any number other than 0. So then this will give me x equals 8, and this will give me x equals 1. Am I done? Why not?
You gotta find the y-intercept.
Nope.
Oh.
No.
You should make it a coordinate.
I need to make it a point. It has to be an ordered pair because x-intercepts are points. So this gives me 8, 0,
And 1, 0.
and this gives me 1, 0. So now I'm done finding the x-intercept.
This is 2.2.
This is still 2.2, yes. What about finding the y-intercept? What do I do to find that? Make x equal to 0. So in the case of this one, that means I'm going to take 0 and plug it in for x. That's what this says.
It's negative 24.
And I'll get negative 3 times 0 squared plus 27 times 0 minus 24. And yes, you will have to write that down for me.
Right.
At that point, then you can say it's negative 24. I want to see you plug it in, because it's not uncommon that people make mistakes in just thinking it in their heads. I'm not yet a mind reader, so I can't tell when you've made a mistake in your head.
I don't think
Am I done?
No.
Yes.
That's an ordered pair as well.
That's an ordered pair as well. 0,
That's good,
negative
B.
24. Intercepts are always ordered pairs. They're points.
Two.
Now am I done with the problem? Well, if you put together your notes from Friday at the end, then your notes from today, we finished the whole problem. We have the vertex, we have the x-intercepts, and we have the y-intercepts. So now, let's do the next problem.
What's the vertex formula again? Negative d over 2i?
No? You have to complete the square to find the vertex.
Did you get that part?
You have to complete the square to find the vertex.
Or no, isn't like
You gotta do this one again.
the x value is negative b over two a?
We don't use that form.
Problems?
You don't?
No, you must be able to complete the square.
Alright, can you show me how to complete the square?
We will have an opportunity to do that in a few minutes,
I have the notes.
Alright.
because we have another problem where we're gonna be asked to do that. Now, here I have a problem that says find a function whose graph is a parabola. In other words, we know we're gonna have an x squared something or other, with a vertex at -2, -9,
That was from
and it
Friday.
goes through the point -1, -6.
Overviewed.
How do you think I'm gonna do that?
Yes.
Plug it into what?
Well,
The vertex form. Yeah, I've got the vertex, so I should just plug it into the vertex form. So remember, the vertex form was f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k, where hk is the vertex. Okay, what do I plug in where? Plug -2 in for h, so I'll have f of x equals a times x minus -2 squared. That'll be a plus in a minute, because minus the negative is a positive. Minus 9. Okay, so far so good. But I'm not done, because I wouldn't be able to graph this yet, would I? So let's do this real quick. Let's simplify this into x plus 2 squared minus 9. Now what should I do? Plug in x, what x? Yeah, I have this point. I'm told that when I have a -1 in for my x, I will have a -6 come out for my y. When I do that, plug in a -1 here and a -6 here, what's the only letter left in my
A.
A, and that'll let me find out what A needs to be. So I'm gonna plug -6 in for y, I'm gonna plug -1 in for x, and then I'm gonna solve. Okay, let's see, I have -6 equals A times, -1 plus 2 is just 1 squared minus 9. Now what? Add 9 to both sides? Okay, so when I add 9 to both sides, I end up with 3 equals A times 1, which is just A. So that means that in the end, my function is f of x equals 3 times, where'd it go? X plus 2 squared minus 9. Now, if you want to check that you did this correctly, you can always graph this on your calculator and find out if its vertex is -2, -9. It should be. And if it actually goes through the point -1, -6. Now, I don't think you've had an opportunity yet to put functions into WebWork. But WebWork checks